So anyhow, we're going to bring on our first guest for the day, and this is Laura Kinsler from The Growth Spotter. What's going on? How are you?
Hey, I'm great. Thanks for having me.
Thanks for being here. So we've got some stories to talk about today, and you write for The Growth Spotter some of the best content, and I love it. We're always using your content on our show about what's going on here in Orlando. And we talked about pre-show, kind of like how cool it is that there's so much going on in Orlando. But can you maybe tell us a little bit about what you do, and before we get into some of our big stories for today?
Right. Well, so we're a premium website that's a part of the Orlando Sentinel, and we cover all aspects of the real estate and development industry. So the residential, the mansion resales, we've just got a story up on the site of the top 10 residential home sales for the year. But then we also cover commercial, hotels, industrial, and a lot of these big master plan communities that are coming online in the Orlando market.
Yeah, and it's interesting because Orlando's not unique in that there's things going on, but Orlando is definitely more active than other places. Would you agree?
Absolutely. It's one of the fastest growing markets in the United States. And it's not just the population growth, it's price growth and wage growth, but also just in terms of multifamily rent growth. It's one of the fastest growing markets for year over year rent growth. So it's very lucrative, and it's a great area for investment.
Yeah, I totally agree. And we're seeing that. We're seeing people from literally
Mhm.
all over the world investing here, which is really big, from the development side to just somebody coming in, dropping in, and buying an Airbnb. So let's actually kick off with the one story that you and I talked about, I guess, beforehand. So it's the Reunion Resort owner confirms plan for $1 billion expansion. And this is something that you and I had kind of gone back and forth. We were talking about. I had some people, Laura. There were people over on Facebook roasting me like 3 months ago, saying like, this is actually not going to happen. He doesn't know what he's talking about. And then you and I were like, no, I actually think it is going to happen. So what's going on here in Reunion?
Well, they've confirmed it, and it's even a bigger project than we thought 3 months ago. At that time, we were thinking it was going to be 1,200 units. Now they're saying 1,800, and they are going to build on what is now the driving range for the golf course and a part of the golf course where those holes are going to be relocated. And they are going to do about a 30-acre mixed use project with a big swimming lagoon, an amphitheater, and 5 or 6 different condo hotels that
So
will
this
be
is
anywhere. Yeah,
that's
this
the
is going to be multi-phased. Mm-hmm.
Yeah, and it's really the person who already owns Reunion. They bought the hotel, they
Right.
bought the whole development, and now they're using some of the available space to put in. 1,800 units is a lot. I think there's something like,
Right.
I could be wrong. There's maybe 3,000 or 4,000 or 3,000 already, but you're almost doubling the size. But it's condo hotel instead of
Right.
more mansions. And so, what do you think about that?
Well, I think he has a really interesting concept. The company that they used to transfer the property is called World Showcase Promenade.
Okay.
And each of these, the concept is that each one of the hotel properties will have some type of an international theme or a region of the world, and the architecture, the interior design, and the food and beverage is going to be unique to that theme. So it will be kind of a world showcase. And then all of the hotels, the units will be built with balconies looking out onto this amphitheater where they're going to have live concerts and nightly entertainment and light shows. So I think it's really interesting. And the most important thing about it isn't just the confirmation, but that they have confirmed that they have the funding for the first phase of the project.
That's the big one, because there's a lot of people that will say we're interested in doing this. They'll get the entitlements. They'll start kind of like
Mm-hmm.
putting out marketing, but then 2 years go by and they abandon the project because nobody will finance them. So this is a really big deal that they actually have financing. I want
Right.
to go back to the comments you mentioned that they're going to be different theming. So I've had people that reached out. You were super kind to quote me in the article. So today people were reaching out and saying they're being very you know it's kind of like its own little Epcot. It almost sounds like, if they're having different regions of the world. Yeah, I mean,
I
with the
brought that up.
yeah. What do
Yeah,
you
I
think
did.
about that?
I had brought that up, and I even used the Epcot as the example. And I don't know that that's what they're trying to emulate. I think they're just trying to do something unique. But when I look at some of the other new hotel product that's coming online, we're seeing some new product coming to the market that is a little bit more international. With the Tao and the what's the Nobu.
Yeah, over in
So
OT West, yeah, or all
right.
of them. Yeah, for sure. I feel like this is one here. I'll show this. This is kind of what people are used to. When I think reunion, I think
Right.
homes like this. Like these multi-million-dollar homes, 12-bedroom. Here we got one for 9 million, other one for
Mhm.
8 million. It's one after another, and most of these are Airbnbs. So there's very few people that actually live in Reunion full time. But this kind of takes it up even further into that echelon of just like entertainment. People are just staying here for a week and then they're out. We're really kind of going all in on the idea that people are not going to choose to live at Reunion. Would you agree?
Yeah, and there are some areas, I would say, like around Reunion Village, where you've got some residential coming in up just on over by the new hospital.
Mm-hmm.
But for the most part, you've got the vacation rental. The condo hotel product has done well there. I think they sold out of the condo portion of Spectrum, which
Mm-hmm.
was an Encore project. So this has been something that even before this company bought Reunion, when the hotel was operated by Salamander Hotels, they were looking to do a big expansion of the Reunion brand because they're not really able to attract business clients. So going with a smaller product where there's more meeting facilities allows them to maybe get a little bit more of the meeting business and really complement what they already have that's so successful with the large scale vacation homes.
Yeah, I agree. I think that, the one piece that you and I were talking about was the whole condo hotel product from the financing perspective, because you can't walk into Bank of America and get a condo hotel mortgage. It just doesn't, like, they don't offer it. Usually they're very specific. And I'm sure that this developer's already thought through that, a good amount of it are going to have to be cash, but coming up with banks that are willing to finance that, I think that's going to be it. I think they're going to have a lot of demand. I think the area is amazing. And if they follow through on all of the ancillary kind of additions to Reunion, I think this blows up. It's just getting enough people to be able to qualify to get a second home and have it pencil, I think, is going to be the big piece of it.
Yeah, and without detracting from the golf, because the golf is also a big draw there. So it's really important that they do that right as far as the rebuilding of those sections of the course.
Totally agree. So we've got a few other, by the way, if you guys have questions for Laura as we're going through some of these, make sure you drop down in the comments below. We're happy to dig in. This is what this is really about, is interacting with you guys and hearing more about what you think of what's going on. But I asked Laura, I said, hey, send me some of the other projects that you are probably the most excited about over the past 12 months. And this was one of the ones you sent me. So Everest Place makes a splash on breaking ground on another $1 billion resort. And this isn't too far from Reunion. So what do you like about this one? What's exciting about it?
This one is really interesting. The master developer is Canadian, and it's 200 acres right at the Western Beltway and the 192 interchange, which is, if you know the area, it's just a hop, skip, and a jump to Disney.
Yeah.
So it's a great location. It's like half a mile from Margaritaville. And what I like about them is that they are going to be introducing a new hotel product that is totally unique, not just to this market, but to North America, which is they're bringing the Misk brand, which is I want to say based in the Emirates, perhaps, but it's going to be the first Muslim-friendly, non-alcohol serving 4-star resort in North America. So
Interesting. So bringing a
it's
little bit of Dubai to Orlando.
exactly, and
Yeah.
it really is going to appeal to a part of the, a element of, the traveling tourist population from parts of the world that maybe come to Orlando and don't really have a place to stay is that conducive to their lifestyle. So there's going to be like a private women's pool. It's called a conservative lifestyle hotel, but the architecture is beautiful. There's also going to be condo hotel towers attached to this as well. And but this whole project is going to have 5 hotels. This is just the first one. They're also going to have they're bringing in back a Nickelodeon kids hotel that's also going to have condos, and they're going to be doing a big water park. So it's really exciting. And to me, the architecture is unique. I think the product is something that, like I said, it's just not available. It'll be the first one in North America. And we have a slideshow where you can see some of the aesthetics. It really looks beautiful.
Yeah, it really does. And for those people curious of where this is, so you have got Disney's Animal Kingdom right back here. I've shown it on screen, and then we've got Margaritaville, which is right here. And this is the 192 kind of coming through here, and then you've got 429. So just to the west of it, from what I understand, right? This is kind of all the area that they're going to be taking up. And so if you know how big Margaritaville is and Sunset Walk and everything over there, to think that that's going to be a mirror image of how big it's going to be, it's a giant area. It's not a small takedown by any means.
Right. And it's mixed use. That's just the first hotel, but they're doing apartments, they're doing medical offices, retail. So they've already come up with a theme for all of their retail, that they're going with a really elevated Spanish Mediterranean architectural style. They want it to be very consistent and upscale throughout. So I think it's a really exciting project. Oh, we lost their sound.
We lost my sound. I'm back?
Yeah.
Sound better? Oh, what's a weird thing? It's the other camera that's messing us up. All right, sounds good. So let's talk about the next project, downtown. Selfishly, I said earlier, this is one of my favorites just because it definitely, I think, changes the downtown area significantly. So the JW Marriott with rooftop garden is going to anchor the new downtown hotel and convention center, which is a big deal because downtown we don't have a ton of convention center space. We also don't have any really nice hotels. But what are you most excited about for this one?
Well, I'm excited about the fact that it's got the convention center. There's really every element of this project is exciting because you're going to have JW Marriott branded residences on the top of the tower, on top of the hotel, and then on the podium, which is the convention center, on that rooftop, you're going to have, initially it was going to be a Chihuly sculpture garden. That artist is no longer connected, but it will be a outdoor sculpture garden with as you can see, this little blue. That's going to be a wedding chapel. So they're really honing in on amping up their wedding business. They even have special reception centers in the lobby for wedding parties. So that's a business model that they're focusing on for the weddings. But just the brand, bringing that brand to downtown, I think the food and beverage will really be a high bar for that market, and it's going to have great views.
The views are going to be great. And I think that, we don't need more office space per se downtown Orlando. I think we do need to be able to pull off a little bit more recreation. I think the convention center space. And then honestly, I'm really excited about the residences as well, because I feel like they've built so many apartments for rent and not enough where people can actually own. And so this is a very exciting project. So we've got a few questions here. So, and this is maybe you can answer this as well. So Claudia says, how are Orlando roadways handling all of this new development with the influx of people? And Laura, I know if you think about Neo City, you think about 192 over in the last thing we just talked about. If you think about Reunion is kind of hard to get in and out of. And so what do you think about the roadways and what is or isn't coming to the area?
I'd say the roadways are deficient. There's a lot of traffic, and especially around that Reunion and Lake Wilson Road area, it's being addressed. There are interchange improvements. I mean, the 27 interchange, the Champions Gate, not 27, I'm sorry, the Champions Gate interchange is being rebuilt. And I think some of the improvements around there are going to make it a little bit easier to get, from the Gulf Coast to Disney, maybe a little bit less of a bottleneck there. But I'll be honest, I work from home. So, and I bought a place that was 5 minutes from the office so that I wouldn't have to sit in traffic. So
totally fair. Totally fair. Jose asks, is O-Town West all done? Is it a big deal, or is it just about the large White Castle? So O-Town West is definitely not done, although it is probably, it's coming along quickly, but you've got the new hotel going, you've got Marriott. Somebody else asked down below what's going on with the Marriott HQ moving. So it's really just the timeshare component of Marriott that's going to be moving over to Town West. But that's $1 billion build out as well, with retail and all of that kind of stuff. What do you think about O-Town West?
I think it's maybe at about the halfway point in terms of the build out. Some of the multifamily some of the apartments that are being built at O-Town West are going to be really spectacular, with a lot of really upscale, the type of hotel quality with, where you can order like basically room service at the hotel, at the pool, so like the Glass House and what's the other one? The Bentley. Those are under construction now. So I think the first of those apartments in O-Town West will deliver in 23. I know that the retail is almost all spoken for, so they're getting a new Publix. The hotel Tao is with the lounge is going to be a really big addition to that. But that we were looking at 24, I think, when the earliest.
I think 23 is going to be a lot of groundwork for so much of this. But no, O-Town West, I think, is going to be pretty amazing when it's all finished. I plan on hanging out, especially the hotels, and there's a lot of good restaurants and that sort of thing opening up along with that. It is interesting to see, Laura, we have so much apartments here, and Chuck Woodall with Unicorp, who owns O-Town West, is like, we're going to go really high end with our apartments. Do you think we have a demand for that locally?
We'll find out if it's sustainable. I question that, given the wages in this market, but people with what's being offered now, the lease ups are phenomenal. So we'll just have to. I think time will tell on that. Yeah. It is interesting that he's going to put a pause. He's finishing what he's started, but he's not going to start any new projects in 23. He's kind of waiting for the economy to pick up a little bit, for a little bit of a drop in inflation.
Yeah, I feel like he's got so much going on. He's got stuff down in Siesta Key or Longboat Key, one of the two. He's doing the St. Regis down there. He's doing, O-Town West here. He's got a lot of stuff, like little micro stuff. I know in Horizon West, where we live, he's got the Mark. He's got a lot of little projects all over.
He's got Celebration Point also with the Publix.
Yeah, and that's finally coming together. So a lot of folks have asked me, I'm moving to Celebration, or I'm looking at Island Village, but there's no shopping anywhere near me. I'm like, well, Celebration Point at least will give you the Publix and kind of the creature comforts you're looking for in that general area. But yeah, he's behind a lot of the major development here.
Yeah, and we have a story that's going to run next week about Island Village. I know you've spoken about it before. Yeah. This is they're getting ready to release the 70-foot lots in phase 1, which is, they're sold out of everything, and they've just had their first sale close at $999. So they're not, but it appraised over $1 million. So yeah,
I think in the lowest 70-foot lot that there will be. because
Yeah,
there's only
and
23 of them.
right, and these are yeah, I mean, what sold was at the 999 was one of the models at
Oh,
the
wow.
front entrance. So the homes, that model that's being offered for sale now on other lots is being priced higher than that.
Yeah.
So
Well,
we're
they
going to
mentioned
see the houses exceed the $1 million mark next year
yeah,
in
those,
Island Village.
yeah, they have to be. I mean, so the 70-foot product, it backs up the conservation. For those of you who don't know, Island Village is in Celebration. It's a Mattamy add-on to Celebration, and they've got their phase one that they're wrapping up. But the last pieces that are more like the estate size, it's up towards the northwest, I guess, of the back end of Island Village. And they're telling me that they're going to be like $1.2 million to $1.6 million, depending on how well appointed those houses are going to be all in.
Right. I don't know that this model that sold is even going to be offered on those lots. It may be that it's offered in phase two because
Yeah.
they probably have a different footprint size building for the 70s.
Yeah, that makes sense. So speaking of new articles, I will let you kind of wrap up, but I'd love for you to pitch because you guys do such a great job over at the Growth Spotter. How can people get more of your content and your writing?
It's really easy. Just type in www.growthspotter.com. You'll land on our homepage, and as soon as you go to open any of the articles, you'll get a prompt to sign up for a subscription. And we're running a special now. You get the first I think 4 months for 99 cents. So it's, who can't afford that?
Yeah, no,
So
it's
treat yourself to a great holiday present and get a subscription to Growth Spotter and buy one for your boss and buy one for your assistant.
Done. That's so good. Listen, thank you so much for spending some time with me tonight. I hope you have an amazing holiday.
Thank you. You too.
All right, so we're going to get over to a few other things. Laura, she is just crushes it. She's like the sleuth, finding all of the little things that go on here in Orlando, which is really cool. She and I have a kindred that way. So we got a bunch of other questions. Now that she's gone, I can actually drop this so that way I can not have a hot head with all of this stuff. But we have got a lot of other things to cover. We talked about MLB that was coming back to Orlando, and so let's talk about that next because I think this is a big deal, especially when you think about what's going on for sports in Orlando. So the MLB announces an updated 2023 spring training schedule. So the Grapefruit League schedule revised has the Rays shift spring training camp to Disney. And so if you didn't know, before over in Lakeland, that's where the Tigers used to play. And then you had the Atlanta Braves that used to play up at the Wide World of Sports. And then that went away a few years ago. And a lot of people were upset, me one of them, because we don't have a baseball team in Orlando. So it was cool to be able to see MLB caliber teams coming here, even though sometimes it was like, the B team, they were trying to like train up to see who makes the team. But it was a really cool event to take your kids to and really show off what's going on. And so the fact that you've got the Rays coming up just up by 4 coming up from Tampa to play, I think this is going to be a really cool addition. And the fact that they're utilizing the ESPN Wide World of Sports a little bit more, I think is awesome. And so super stoked to see them start using that a little bit more as well. And so I want to get into a few other questions here. Bree Tucker from our team here says that she loved Laura. Of course. Heck yeah, we all do. So here's an interesting one. Man, it went so fast. All right, so Guntham Ubali says, do I think homes in Laureate Park will drop at all, particularly homes more than $1 million? Yeah, they actually already have. There's already homes that were selling for over $1 million or right at $1 million that are now in the mid 9s. I actually have a video coming out on Tuesday talking about sort of the state of the real estate area of like residential real estate and what's going on in the area and what that's going to be, I think, over into 2023. And so you've got about a 5% pullback or so in the real estate market. And so in some areas like Laureate Park and some other ones, we're seeing pullback as well. Some of the farther out areas, I think, are some of the more susceptible. You had a lot of builders that were developers putting out so many homes that now, unfortunately, they're having to offer at discounts just to get people to move forward because of the interest rates. And so it is what it is. But I do think it's a great opportunity for buyers right now as well to go to these builders and kind of just shoot your shot. And you're like, hey, I want you to help buy down my rate. I want some design center incentives. I want some other stuff, because even a month ago, 2-3 months ago, you couldn't get the stuff that you're getting now from builders. And so Laureate Park, I think, is uniquely positioned because Laureate Park 1 is sold out, but you've got Laureate Park 2 right next to it, and Dreamfinders is building that out, and they want to continue sales and continue going things over there. And so I do think that because of its location, Laureate Park's still going to do well, but yeah, we'll see overall. A few other questions that we had going on. See, Dan says he just got back from a day with Liz. Good to see you. I appreciate it, Liz. What's up? We love Reunion. The change in topography, mix in design and styles in the green space was the biggest draw. I agree. I think that whole area, Reunion, that whole thing, it's just the topography is beautiful. Claremont's another one. If I did a video as well, we're talking about the Wellness Way and everything going on in Claremont. We don't really have a lot of hills in Orlando. I feel like it's mostly flat here, but if you look out in Claremont, you can definitely get a little bit more topography. As we're continuing to talk about sports, let's talk about the Orlando Magic for a hot minute. I got to go to my first game, my first Orlando Magic game the other day, and I thought it was fantastic. Honestly, the crowd was really into it, and they won. And then I think they won 6 in a row, lost one, and then came back to beat the Rockets last night, 116-110. So let me know down below in the comments. Are you excited about this team? Are you getting into sports here in Orlando beyond UCF football and maybe beyond Orlando City soccer? I think the Orlando Magic, I mean, they're a young team. They've got a lot going on. But one of the things that I think I was most impressed with was the Amway Center. Just the customer service that people had there was remarkable. Like, I feel like they really took care of us. The team was really just into it. The team people like helping out, not the actual players. They were into it as well. But the support cast of the team in the aisleways, and just, it was clean. It's a good time. So if you're looking to get into some sports in our area, I think the Magic are doing some really cool things as well. Let's actually go back. Let's see. This is an interesting one. If you've never heard, Orlando has a place called Christmas, Fort Christmas, which is, I was trying to figure this out. Maybe I can ask Laura later on how all of this works, but I was going to dig in here. So wetland near Fort Christmas in East Orlando. It's owned by the city of Orlando, although it's actually closer to Titusville than Lake Eola, this says, and this is by the Orlando Sentinel. Orlando adds sprawling boardwalk over Jewel wetlands. And when I saw the photos coming out of this, I was like, man, I don't know if I'm going to drive over to Fort Christmas. But then I looked at the photos and they're pretty remarkable. I feel like they did a really beautiful job. Let's see. Let me go over this way. They did a really beautiful job of making sure that you can actually use and appreciate all of the nature that there is there. There's over 20 miles of trails and a lot of nature. And that's another thing that I mentioned to people when they're moving to the area. It's not just theme parks here. It's not just flat land and like all of that kind of stuff. There's so much going on here in Orlando, even from a nature perspective, that people just don't realize. So whether you're taking a boat tour or you're checking out, walking over the new paths over in Christmas, pretty cool. And then I started digging into like the whole origin of Christmas and how did this go on and what's up with the Fort Christmas and what does that even mean? And it appears as though, here, we'll look over here. It appears as though back in the like 1800s during the Seminole War, there was this area that was supposed to be a supply chain area that actually never saw any kind of battles. But you can still go there and see some of the forts that are actually part of Fort Christmas. And so, yeah, just kind of like one of those things. If you're theme parked out and you're like, hey, I'm willing to take a drive and go see some of the nature and a little bit of history, it's like 45 minutes from downtown Orlando. Let's go see a few other things. This is an interesting one. I had quite a few of you guys ask about, which was what's going on with the affordable housing for Walt Disney World. So Walt Disney World announced that they're going to do construction of affordable housing. And where is this actually at was the number one question that everybody asked, because people were like, do I want to buy close to this? Do I not want to buy close to this? This is actually not it. This is a photo of Epcot. But this is where it's at. So this is where the 429 is. You've got Magic Kingdom up here, Epcot off to the east, and then Flamingo Crossing, which is their new town center. I think I can make this even a little bit bigger. There we go. Flamingo Crossing, which is their new town center. It's got Starbucks. It's got a pizza place. Actually, I think a couple pizza places. It's got a Target and just kind of like all the creature comforts that you'd need for the cast member housing, which is right down here as well. And so if you were to go right up Avalon Road and off to the east here of Avalon is going to be the development site. And essentially they're building 1,300 affordable housing units. And I don't think that these are actually going to be for sale. In fact, everywhere I looked online, I could not find anything that was actually where it was actually going to be for sale. It was all most likely going to be for lease. And if you think about the cast member housing that's right there in Flamingo Crossing, it's affordable housing as well. I mean, these kids aren't making a ton of money to begin with. They stack them up 2, 3, 4 people per apartment, and then they charge them $500 to $700 a piece. And so, is this going to be the same thing? Probably not. They're going to be, my guess, micro kind of units and at a little bit more of an affordable pricing, affordable offering. Because if you look right north of that in Horizon West, an apartment, a 1-bedroom, 1-bath apartment are going for like $2,300, $2,400, which is just not affordable when you think about the workforce in the area at Disney. And so it'll be interesting to see. But if you're interested in where this is, it's right off of 429 and Avalon, right there where they kind of pie together, right north of Flamingo Crossing. What else have we got here for us today? Oh, here's an interesting one. If you do live in I'm sorry to stay on this side of town, but if you do live in the Horizon West Hamlin area, Horizon West, this is by the OBJ. They're going to have, the town center is going to get a new big box retailer. And here's what they're guesstimating. And if you know where this is at, where Hamlin is, there's a Walmart right there, right off of Hamlin. And right north of it is this massive piece of land, right off of Hamlin Groves and the 429. It looks like it's going to be a Sam's Club. And not only is it going to be a Sam's Club, but they're actually going to have a gas station. And if you've ever lived in this area or visited in this area and you're trying to find a gas station, there's one. And it's at Walmart, and there's like 6 pumps, and there's always a line. It's an absolute nightmare. And so adding Sam's Club, whether you're a Sam's Club member or not, hopefully it'll alleviate a little bit of the gas in that area. But if that whole Hamlin area is blowing up, there's Chick-fil-A coming, which is amazing. And obviously Sam's Club, which is cool. A few other stories, and we're going to get back to your questions. So make sure you drop them down below. I'm happy to answer those. This is a big one. So contract award, Lockheed Martin Missiles and Fire Control got almost a quarter million. $225 million award here in Orlando, this is a big deal. If you don't know Lockheed Martin, I know, again, most people think Orlando, they think theme parks, but we have aviation, we have defense through Lockheed Martin, as well as a bunch of other major companies here that support both the US government and then obviously NASA and everything else kind of going back and forth. But a lot of folks are reaching out to us recently, getting jobs at Lockheed Martin and moving to the area. And so when we talk about higher priced jobs here, again, it's not just the theme parks. I think we've got a lot of hospitality here, which is amazing. We've got a lot of opportunity for that to train people in the hospitality industry. Maybe it's through college or on and on, but to support the theme parks that we have. But beyond that, we've got really good paying jobs moving to the area. And when somebody knocks down a $200 million contract, that's like, especially when they're getting these, like, it seems like every other month, that's a good thing for our area. What's up, Larry from Springfield, Illinois, where the current wind chill is -30. Condolences. And you said you can't wait to move to Florida. I can't wait till you're here as well. What's going on, Heather? Good to see you. I appreciate it. We didn't check in with our people, and I apologize. What's going on, man? Good to see you. Thank you so much. Yeah, if you don't mind, if you've watched this already for 34 minutes and you haven't given us the thumbs up, that would mean a lot. It lets the YouTube gods know that this video is just okay. And so that means a lot. And if you haven't already grabbed a subscription, it's free. I didn't know if you know, but if you haven't subscribed, make sure you do that as well. Ken's new sports obsession. I love it. Man, I'm kind of excited, to be honest with you. You got a little bit of Magic. I got a little bit of baseball. I'm trying to get into the soccer because of the World Cup and everything. It seems like this is going to be the new sport for the U.S., maybe, at least for the next, we'll see in the next 4 years how things go. But man, I'm digging it. I'm digging it big time. All right, here's a good question by Kyle. He says, I'm really confused with Orlando. Why is rent for a 2-bedroom $1,800 to $2,000, but your average family income is like $55? I live here in Northern Virginia, family income of $145 and a 2-bedroom's $2,300. Well, it's really, so you mentioned like average family income is $55,000. It's actually not. It's actually the average income here in Orlando is $47,000. So average family income is roughly $94,000. It's still high. If you look at our rents are some of the highest around. And the continual growth of that is very interesting. We do have a lot of people that work remotely. Like Laura was here earlier and she's like, yes, traffic's bad, but I work from home. That's a lot of our clients and a lot of the people that we help move here. Yes, there's plenty of people that move here and work for the theme parks or the hospitals or the hotels and that kind of thing. But beyond that, there's not a lot of affordable apartments, but you got to look at it. 94 grand is the average 2-family income for Orlando. All right, let's get back into it. I feel like I missed someone's question. What's going on? Orange Grows. I appreciate it. How much do you think Reedy Creek situation will hurt Disney? I don't think much of anything. Thank you for the plug, for the paid boost there. That means a lot. I don't think it's going to. I think that yes, DeSantis backtracked on his whole. Well, they say he didn't backtrack. Like DeSantis' camp saying, "I'm not backtracking, but I'm just not going to punish Disney." And Disney's like, "We're moving forward." I think there's going to be slight change to Reedy Creek, and at the end of the day, the taxpayers are not going to have to be burdened with the bond money, and that things are just going to move forward as is. And so I don't think it's going to hurt them at all. I just got here, so they're talking about Orlando getting a major baseball team. No, Tony, man, I wish it. Well, we're getting spring training back, which I'm excited about. It's not an actual MLB team moving to Orlando, but we get spring training back, which I'm stoked about. Oakley says, "What's up? You finally had time to listen live. Keep up the good work. I appreciate that. Let me know down below. Do you guys like the 7 o'clock, the 7 to 8 on Thursdays? Because that's kind of what we're going with for the next few months. But I'm always open to kind of hearing feedback. I thought a midweek kind of deal kind of allows me to get my weekends back with the family. So let's see. A bunch of other questions that I missed. Jose asks, what are the state of commercial real estate in Orlando? Are there lots of vacancies? So it's interesting. I feel like it's pocketed. So downtown Orlando has a lot of office space available, a lot of office space. But then if you go into like Winter Park retail or Winter Garden retail or some of these other areas, it's like 95% full, 96% full, really, really strong in the submarkets. It happens to be just the larger areas that we're not seeing these massive companies come in and take down 400,000 square feet. You will look at like over in Lake Nona, you have KPMG took down a bunch for their call centers. They've got a bunch for their training facility over at the lake house, a lot of that stuff. But yeah, that's a submarket as well, like, over in Lake Nona. So yeah, I think that it depends on the retail, depends on the area, which is doing well and which isn't. Visual says, great. Good to see you, by the way. My man says 7 to 8 as well. Good to see you, my friend. All right, very cool. Yes, Thursday, 7 to 8 is good. I appreciate it. And if you haven't, if you're watching the replay, that's okay too. That means a lot. Let's go into what's going on in the real estate world, because that's, I'm a real estate agent. That's what I do. Over here, this is the 7-day forecast or the 7-day market watch. And I do these on all of our lives just to give you an update of what might be coming to the area in terms of real estate. And so we have over the past 7 days in the 5 county areas, which is Orange, Osceola, Seminole, Lake, and Polk County. We've got 740 new listings. We have 129 price increases, which is going to be typically builders kind of working on their way up in terms of pricing increases, which is interesting. Price decreases almost match a little bit more than new listings. This number, was over 1,300, 1,200 for the longest time, the price decreases, and that number continues to drop, which I think is a positive sign. You look at pendings are matching new listings, and sales are outpacing new listings at 924. So like, what does all of that actually mean? It means that new listings are coming on and they're going off just as fast. And we had a really strong past 30 days. That's all that means. And I think that as new listings stop decreasing, that's obviously a healthy thing. But overall, days on market are about 42 days right now. So if you list your house, it should take you roughly a month and a half to get an offer and 30 days to close. And so as long as we don't see some of these numbers start to topple, where you have way more listings than homes actually going pending, then I think we're going to be okay. Do I think that the market will continue to slide back a little? I do. I think that over the next 3 to 6 months, we'll probably slide back 2 to 5%. But I do think the second part of 2023 is going to be phenomenal, because we have so much pent up buyer demand right now that are just saying, hey, we're waiting on the sides just to see what happens. And so should the inflation problem and interest rate problem kind of get worked out, I think that we're going to have a really, really strong market. That's what I'm thinking. Anyhow, let's see. Burps says, Ken, is the downtown Orlando area by the Stagger Inn and Public Library a livable area for condos, or it is unsafe and undesirable? I think it all depends on your time of life and what does safe and desirable actually mean to you. If you're looking for proximity, if you're looking at walkability, if you're looking at all of these other different things, there's a lot of that there. But it's just a different lifestyle than some people are after. And so I think that if I was a single dude or just gotten married and I want to live in downtown Orlando and take advantage of all the stuff that's coming on in the area, be close proximity to Winter Park and all that kind of stuff, I think it's a great area. But it depends on what you're after and what means the most to you. What's going on, big guy? Good to see you. This is an interesting one. Kyle says, I used to live in Williamsburg and love it. However, I recently looked at the school rankings and they really dropped in the area. What's your favorable area with 300,000 to 400,000 with good school districts? So Kyle, as a real estate agent, wildly enough, they don't allow me to talk about school districts, what's good, bad. I'm not allowed to say like this area is safe, that area is not safe, just because it's all subjective in so many ways. You might have a kid that's looking to be a sports rock star and this school is really good for it. You might have a special needs kid that it only has things in this certain area. And so I can't say what a good school area is, but you can go on goodschools.org and there's a lot of other resources. If you want to hit me up, info@pozekgroup.com. I'm happy to give you some resources to research schools. That being said, Williamsburg is an interesting area because of everything going on with Universal over there. I think is a really positive thing, especially if you add in Epic Universe and kind of the build out. There's so much pour over into iDrive because of everything coming with Universal and Epic Universe. I think that Williamsburg area is going to, from an investment standpoint, get better and better over the time. So, Alicia said, we're finally working with your team. Shout out to Riley. Oh, I love Riley. That's amazing. Congratulations. And thanks so much. Thanks so much for reaching out. Michelle says, you have the best information as a fellow agent. You know your stuff. New to Florida, coming from Arizona. I really appreciate learning about the new areas and the quality info. That means a lot. I appreciate that. We're trying to coordinate as much as we can over here to let people know that are moving to the area as much as they can. That's correct. Heather says it's greatschools.org/Florida. Thank you for the link down below. That means a lot. All right. So I've got a couple other things and then we are going to probably wrap up actually. Have you ever been to the Enzian Theater? We did this whole client event last weekend over at the Enzian. And I just want to give them a shout out because I think it's a really cool place. Let me show this real quick. Enzian. My new keyboard. Enzian. There we go. This place is super cute. If you don't know where Maitland's at, it's kind of up northeast of Orlando, west of Winter Park. And if you look, they show the old films, and it's this little theater that shows all of these really cool. You've got Goodfellas going to show there. Elf is going to be there on Christmas. You've got the James Bond New Year's Eve party. They've got Sundance Shorts of 2022. A lot of really cool things. Addams Family, the OG version on January 12th. And so if you're looking for like a cool date night, if you're looking for just different, Enzian might be for you. They also do they've got full bar there, full food restaurant. It's really good. And so definitely check them out. I think it's like a little hidden gem if that's something that you're after. And so, all right, let's look at the questions before we wrap up tonight. Do I have any information, or do I still show homes in Mount Dora, or wish you can talk to the realty agents in your quality videos? I'm blanking on her name. That's Bree Tucker, is around. She lives there. Definitely either reach out to us or her. Happy to help you either way. But the whole area is pretty fantastic. So anyways, I think we are going to wrap up for the night. I so appreciate you guys joining us on our inaugural Thursday evening. Thank you for coming with questions. Thanks for watching the replay. If you haven't already, hit that like button. It does mean a lot. And we'll see you guys on the next video. Thanks again to Laura again, by the way. Have a good night. Talk to you soon.